episode is, and I blame the public school system, which was inspired by Ronnie Laney's comedy album.
I have a mixture of thoughts. Although I do believe it is straightforward, in some ways it is not fair. Can it be like anything, like grades?
Yeah. When it comes to the academics, which classes do you think were the most helpful?
My most helpful one, definitely Spanish. But there was some stuff that I never learned yet, like how to say the alphabet in Spanish, how to tell time. Another class is definitely algebra or geometry, aka math. And now, because I did so well in math, that I'm able to use time to help other kids.
Kind of following along with math, economics was my favorite. Is really the most helpful, because that one we're learning about the recession, we're learning about taxes, we're learning about how things. Today we learned about identity theft. And even on YouTube channels and under the comments, you would see things like, this should be taught more in school, financial literacy. So I'm glad we're learning that. Are there any classes that you feel like didn't help you?
I am gonna have to say part in government, no disrespect. I took that when I was in 10th grade and when we had to be online because of COVID.
I'm taking that now.
Unfortunate, remember that ball teacher who used to be here, he resigned?
No.
Mr.
No, I never had him.
Yeah, I felt like he wasn't really straightforward with the explanation, so I had no choice but to teach myself the material, because he would talk really fast and to be like, does everyone understand what I'm saying? And I'm thinking in my head, no, because you're talking way too fast.
So do you feel like you wasted time in that class or any other class?
Just in that class, yes, but I'm lucky I passed because I got the work done.
There were several things I'm thankful were during COVID because I wouldn't have passed otherwise.
What?
AP US History. AP World History. Yeah. There's a lot of note taking in that class.
What else?
I think that's it.
When did you take chemistry?
It's 10th grade.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Like it was like 50-50. It was like challenging in some cases, but in other cases it was really good.
That periodic table.
Yeah, Miss was like smart kid.
Everybody said that too. One of the deeper things in the school system are the grades. Here we have from 55 to 100. Some people even have over 100, but I want to talk about how school is built on grades and how you could try so hard and you fail.
Yes, definitely. Like I have that same issue too. Like sometimes like I would put my whole life on the line to do one essay, then I get my grade back and it's not good. That's why we need more of like mastery-based grading. They don't want to grade you based on like the quality of your work. They want to see like where you're at. That's what the middle school I went to, and really did that for me. They would say like if I would get like an approaching or a not yet, that would be a sign of like you're not there yet, but there's an opportunity you can do better. Hey, like if I were to get like this grade, if I'm out of the borderline, I would call that an approaching. I would be like, I'm like getting there, but not yet. That means I need more support.
For me, one of the biggest things was I would be so jealous of some of my classmates sometimes because they would just sit there on their phones or they would just sit there just looking, and they get 90s easily. They remember everything. But for me, I have to go home, restudy the material, look stuff up online, look up PDFs, and I get an 80. And that would be a struggle for me.
Yeah, I feel that pain too, because like I always try to go for like 90 and up on all my classes, and I still do. And sometimes it takes me a while to like remember stuff because students like me, I'm on the spectrum. I like to make sure things are in like an orderly fashion. I like to make sure I go for high achievement.
Are things really difficult for you because of that?
Well, in some cases they are, but in some they're not.
Like I write. One of my favorite classes has always been writing class. But it's really difficult how sometimes teachers focus on the length of what you're writing, but not the actual quality. Like this person could easily get
Not me.
My English teacher. I'm talking about writing. And there was in 11th grade last year.
Who did you have last year? Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I had him
for
in
AP.
10th. I had him in 10th for English.
Was he good?
Well, I would say yes, he was good, but he did not play about those assignments.
Boy, did he play. But anyways, sometimes a person who I know their work was like a 70, their paragraph would be this big, but mine would be smaller, but better quality, but they would get the higher grade, and I thought that was unfair, and I just always hated that they focus on length a lot for writing.
In elementary school, if my paragraph wasn't a certain length, I had to do it over and over again, and so it was so annoying. Like even if it meant one time I had to sacrifice my recess because that paragraph. Remember, like back in elementary school, like if you couldn't do like a certain quality, you had to give up your recess to do that.
I don't think I ever had that, but other periods, yeah.
Sometimes teachers would fail to understand, like I'm on the spectrum that requires extra time and practice.
Have you ever been harassed by someone?
Well, no, I wouldn't say like not to the extreme. Like I honestly don't want to talk about my experience, but like I have been, but sometimes like not to the full extreme.
And now we've addressed a couple complaints about the public school system. If there were a couple things that you would change about it, what would you change?
I would make like I would like focus more on mastery-based grading instead of like the regular grading system. It would like see like where teachers would work with the students to tell them where they are. If they were to get like an approaching or not yet, like I said earlier, chances for upgrades. You know, like upgrade week, you go back to any assignments you got like an approaching or not yet on, and you want to like revise that for a meeting or exceeding, that would be better instead of like just like putting in the 55 and then it stays.
And that wouldn't be considered cheating. We actually have, one of my teachers lets us revise our test scores. We can do that for a better grade. But even online, I see a lot about school doesn't prepare people for life. School doesn't prepare people for life. I feel like the last year of high school should be dedicated to honing skills and gaining experiences and things like that.
Because like schools are talking about like we're gonna make our students ready for life. Yet you never teach us how to pay our taxes. You never teach us how to pay our bills.
Right.
And we're not even gonna use the quadratic formula in our real life.
True. And even if you go to college for that, you'll relearn it. So many people have to go home and maybe babysit or tutor.
Yeah, like whoever after school job.
After the jobs too, internships. So why can't part of the day be taken just to dedicate for that? And people can be dedicate to that. Are you going to college?
Yeah, I'm going to Institution of Culinary Education.
Oh. Upstate?
Yeah, over in Manhattan.
Oh, one thing I have an issue with is the pressure to college.
Oh yes, I remember. Remember in the beginning of the year?
Oh, talk about it.
I'm not even. Should I? It was like, if you don't apply to college, you're not gonna graduate, and I'm just thinking, what? You agree?
It's beautiful. It's nice that people say that because they can. People say that because they actually that's the typical path to success, but no one ever digs deeper into the alternatives, which I actually wrote an article about before, like a month ago. And I think to myself, you know what? I have to do this research on my own because nobody else is taught. They talk about other things lightly, but they never dig as deep as college. So was your decision easy?
It was like easy-ish. I don't want to like go full of detail into it.
In the office, room 146, thank you.
So you said the quadratic formula won't be used in our life. I think that we should substitute the current curriculum in at least from 10th grade to 12th grade to, like you said, taxes and percentages, which I love that math lesson. And just money, mortgages and credit cards and things like that. How old are you now?
18, turning 19 at the end of this month.
Ooh. I don't know what else to say. Any comments?
Well, not that much.
Well, that's been our little conversation on the public school system. There's definitely so much more to cover and so much more that we'll eventually think about, but that was us, Kendrah and Hailey. This is our actual break. We're on break right now. Lunch. Should go to lunch right now. What are you gonna do?
I'm actually gonna do some I've been using my lunchtime to tutor other kids in math, like with Miss Prasad's class.
Okay, that's cool.
But I might hang in here for the rest of the period. We'll see.
Hungry, so I'm gonna go. It was nice talking to you, Hailey.
All right. Thank you.
Saying the night, girl, you promised it. I hide in the cave like Osama did. I'm blowing the bag in the diamond district. You need me like dollars.